This is a trade recap for Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. Continuing on with one and done. This is officially the halfway point. So 15 out of 30. So that is going well. Had a little bit of a interesting trade this morning, which we will go over. But yeah, all in all, good stuff. Can't really think of anything super funky other than that. Those in the markets. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where every day is kind of a little different. Sometimes it can even be a little boring. Sometimes it can be a little exciting, but it's one of those things where the important thing is to keep the emotions under control and learn what you can with the lessons that are presented, especially, again, if you're learning from a mentor or coach, like definitely pay attention to them, what they're teaching, what they're talking about, really absorb it. And if you don't have a mentor or coach and you're potentially looking to learn this or get help if you're struggling, listen up. I am a student of this gentleman. This is Pat Mitchell. He is a professional day trader, though he originally was in blue-collar work. And he has been in the markets for a little over a decade now. And he has built up a incredible process and knowledge base when it comes to learning how to day trade. He runs a service called Trick Trades. He has also put together inside of Trick Trades a program called SizeUp, and that's what I do. And it is a structured program for learning how to day trade. You start with a small cash account and you basically build that up with your education, experience, and screen time to eventually hit different milestones and become a full-time professional day trader. So if you're interested in something like that, great person, probably one of the highest quality coaches when it comes to day trading out there, if not the highest quality. I don't personally know of any other coaches that I can stand by or say that about, and I've been around a few of them in terms of their services, and nothing even comes close to what Pat offers. So if you're looking for a high quality coach, I cannot recommend him enough. And like I said before, you can find him over at tricktrades.com. He also has a YouTube channel on his own where he posts recaps usually daily. If you want to check that out, you can get a little preview of the kind of information he offers and the quality. And that is just a very, very small amount of the knowledge he possesses. But yeah, definitely check him out. It will be worth your time and effort to go through some of his content and judge for yourself. And with that being said, let's get into the charts. Here we go with the live recording from this morning's market session. Just going to go ahead and get this guy fired up. It's about a minute before the open where I'm going to start. And if you're new to this, just give you kind of a lay of the land. We have our daily chart here on the left. We have our 1 minute intraday here in the middle. And then I have my order execution here on the right. These blue levels are developed by Pat the night before and refined the morning of the trade session. And these blue levels do not get moved once they are established. That's what he bases the trade plan around and everything. And we don't want to be monkeying with that stuff in the middle of the day. That's why, again, like chasing like catalyst, using screeners and stuff like that doesn't really work because you're always bouncing around and all that stuff. So just a little insight there. I add these red levels that say risk. I add those myself because I like a visual level for risk. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. And I'll go ahead and we can get this one going. So as you can see, again, we were kind of just waiting to see what happens in between the levels after we gapped up over the previous close from yesterday. getting kind of close on the level on Q, so it's looking like good for the long. SPY has a little bit more room to come down, so that's something you got to kind of take into account. You need to be watching both charts potentially, because sometimes one will go a little bit further than you're expecting based on the position of the other. So about to hit the open, got all the options I want selected and basically ready to go and just waiting. All right, here's the open, start coming down, just waiting for it to get nice and close to that level. So you can get a little bit closer. And there we go. Right at it. Hit enter, comes through it a little bit. And again, SPY's got some room to come down, so that's okay. And just kind of see what it wants to do. Just waiting for that reaction. Sitting there again, looked like it's about to come up potentially. Now the SPY's tested its level, so getting ready to potentially sell on that reaction. Or if it comes down again, potentially to add an average in. So I decided to sell there. Just kind of watching it, waiting, looking decent for, again, to continue up. So I was kind of looking for that add on confirmation and remount. So that's what I was doing right there. I'm trying to more fully work it, and then you get the follow through and took it right back off. And as you can see, I mean, it looks funky on the where it executed. And if you're just to look at that on the options chart that you see there in the corner, it looks weird because it looks like a chase. I was looking for, again, confirmation of the remount. It gave it, so I added that back in. But the thing is, like when you're adding size in, if you put size in, you want to get size out fairly quickly. You don't want to be holding on to size because this thing can fail. I mean, nothing. There's no such thing as a guaranteed outcome when it comes to a trade. So yeah, you want to make sure if you're putting size in, you want to strip it right back out. And that's pretty much all there was of the morning. Again, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in now. It's like we're basically done. So pretty solid there. Again, I'm going to probably try and clean up the adding part of it, because I would say that's probably something that definitely needs to be worked on. But again, it's practice. It takes time, experience to do that. So now with that, probably go ahead and drop this guy off and go into the actual charts. So get basically zoomed in on these real quick just to show you more or less how it all panned out. Now pull up the, again, screenshot of the orders. So again, one and done. Took the first trade, the trigger, worked that trade. Need to clean up, obviously, that remount add. Not the most ideal, but not the worst. Just little tweaks. You don't need to do like huge changes to things generally. You should just be tweaking. If you have to do major changes, or whatever you're calling your strategy or something, it's probably not the best. So I'll just drop that. Yeah, I can actually, screw it, I'll leave that up. As you can see, came down, tested this level again on Qs, but did not break below that morning low or even like really test the risk, and then came up and had more follow through, pulled back, confirmed, and then just pushed all the way up into this level and worked. I mean, that worked beautifully. And even if you say waited for this level, and you triggered off this and you paid yourself quickly, you just did a quick pay because it looks like it's, again, a little bit stronger with this run up. It's like I was saying, you still could have made something there. So that was also a valid trade. Again, SPY did the exact same thing, more or less, with the exception of as it was coming up, there had a couple pre-market ranges where we were watching to potentially base a trade off of. Didn't quite worked out. So you probably would have, again, depending on the size of your account, what you're risking, what your risk profile is, you probably would have gotten stopped out on that if you tried to short this. But these were minor levels, not major levels. Q's had a major level, which, again, as you can see, there's a difference in how they work. So, yeah, all in all, good day. Like I said, halfway through, one and done. So this was 15 of 30. I mean, in trading days, that's 6 weeks, so a month and a half. Good time frame to build good habits and see where the issues are. Trying to think towards the end of this one or at the end of it, I'm probably gonna again pull up a account progress chart that I have that's logged in the SizeUp app over at Trick Trades, and I'll show you guys that one, and we can kind of dissect like the before and the after, just to kind of show you guys what this looks like. Once you get enough data logged, and again, it's usually pretty revealing. And then going from there, once we hit 30, I'm going to restart the process. I'm going to shorten the window. So I'm going to take it from 30. I'm trying to say, I can't decide. I haven't decided yet in terms of what I want to do the next run for 2 weeks or longer, 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm going to also increase the size by 1 contract on both ends. So a minimum of 2. We're going to go raise the minimum from 1 to 2, and then we're going to raise the max from 3 to 4, and then basically reiterate this entire process over again. And for that time frame, whatever it happens to be, and then see if there's any issues, anything needs to be worked on. If there is issues, then I'll probably extend it at that level. So again, that's what I'm thinking. Do it for 2 weeks. If no issue is present, kind of do the same thing where I'll raise the size again and go for another 2 weeks, and basically just keep doing this process until all of a sudden you run into some quirky thing, like, again, your emotions start kicking in because of the size, the numbers that might be seeing that maybe confuse, or not really confused, but again, concern you or cause some sort of emotional trip up to where it's like you start to feel uncomfortable. Because that's kind of where I would say you want to get to, is getting, you don't want to get stupidly oversized in anything, but you also want to get uncomfortable so you can start pushing the envelope a little bit in a healthy and, I guess, safe way, to where if something goes wrong, it's not going to cause a huge amount of damage to your account. But at the same time, you're working, you got to get, again, learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's that kind of mentality, because once you learn to handle that particular size, you bring your size up a little bit, get comfortable with that, and that's kind of how you grow. You naturally kind of build size into it, and that's how Pat's system is designed and laid out to work. That way, you're not trying to go from 0 to hero in a relatively short window, because when you try to do that, you'll nuke your account. You'll think you'll have everything figured out because you had a few wins, a handful of wins, and you're going to throw the boat at some trade that doesn't work out. You're going to get stopped out on it, and by the time you again stop out, assuming your emotions are going to be pretty much out of check at that point, or out of whack, and you will probably take a nasty account up until the point where it's like, yeah, you seriously damage or blow up your account. So it's, again, doing this in a very healthy way makes all the difference. And that's what, again, Pat's little protocol here on one and done and first to trigger is all about, is how to get comfortable with using size and have the right mentality and the right emotions, the right discipline, and then just working your way up so you can go from being, an account builder to being an actual trader. That's just a very important aspect, because that is again, right now it's not really present. Because my struggles really aren't with like 1 to 3 contracts generally. It's when, again, you get a little bit beyond that is usually where I started having issues. So I'm curious to see again how that presents itself as we go through this exercise and iterate it a couple more times just to get up to that size to see, do the wheels come off? So yeah, all in all, like I said, need to clean up, adding and averaging, correcting, stuff like that. But other than that, pretty good normal day. And hopefully everyone else had a good day, good morning in the market session. And yeah, that's all I got. So I'll catch everyone tomorrow for the next one and see what the day brings. Have a good one.